The Mask, 1994, is a fantasy comedy film that rapidly became iconic thanks to its unique blend of live-action and computer-generated imagery, humor, and memorable performances. The movie, directed by Chuck Russell, is based on a comic book series published by Dark Horse Comics. It tells the story of Stanley Ipkiss, a meek and mild-mannered bank clerk played by Jim Carrey, whose life is changed dramatically when he discovers a magical mask. The mask, when worn, transforms him into a zany, cartoonish figure with superpowers and an uninhibited personality. This transformation allows Stanley to become a confident and mischievous character, acting out the fantasies he could never fulfill as his regular self. The film brilliantly showcases Carrey's physical comedy and improvisational skills, which were pivotal in establishing his career as a leading comedic actor in Hollywood. The plot of The Mask unfolds in the fictional Edge City, where Stanley Ipkiss navigates a monotonous life filled with disappointments. He is a nice guy, often taken advantage of by others, including his boss and his so-called friends. One night, after being turned away from an exclusive nightclub, Stanley finds the ancient mask floating in the city's river. Upon wearing it, he transforms into the Mask, a green-faced, flamboyant character with the ability to manipulate reality. This new persona allows him to exact revenge on those who have wronged him, such as the auto mechanics who swindled him earlier that day. The Mask's antics quickly attract the attention of local mobsters and the police, leading to a series of chaotic and comedic events throughout the city. Cameron Diaz, in her film debut, plays Tina Carlisle, the love interest of Stanley Ipkiss, and the girlfriend of gangster Dorian Tyrell, portrayed by Peter Green. Tina initially enters Stanley's life as a spy for Tyrell, who is plotting to rob the bank where Stanley works. However, as the story progresses, she becomes charmed by Stanley's kindness and the Mask's charisma. The chemistry between Carrey and Diaz adds a romantic subplot that complements the film's comedic elements. The dynamic between Stanley and Tina underscores the film's theme of duality and identity, as Tina is drawn to both Stanley's genuine nature and the Mask's larger-than-life personality, ultimately leading her to question her relationship with the dangerous and controlling Tyrell. The film's visual effects were groundbreaking at the time, blending live-action performances with computer-generated imagery to create the exaggerated, cartoon-like sequences that define the Mask's antics. Industrial Light and Magic, the company behind the effects, used advanced techniques to give the Mask's character his signature abilities, such as spinning like a tornado, transforming his body into various shapes, and pulling props out of thin air. These effects were not only crucial in translating the comic book style into a cinematic experience, but also in highlighting Jim Carrey's physicality and comedic timing, which were essential in bringing the over-the-top character to life. The result was a visually stunning and innovative film that pushed the boundaries of what could be achieved in a comedy film. The Mask was a commercial success, grossing over $350 million worldwide against a modest budget, and it received positive reviews from critics for its inventive humor, special effects, and Carrey's performance. The film's success solidified Jim Carrey's status as a leading man in comedy, following his previous hit, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which was also released in 1994. The Mask has since become a cultural phenomenon, influencing a generation of films that blend live action with special effects to create fantastical worlds. Its legacy endures, not only through its memorable quotes and scenes, but also through its impact on the genre, proving that a comic book adaptation could be both a critical and commercial success, paving the way for future superhero and fantasy films. The 1994 film The Mask, starring Jim Carrey, may be remembered for its slapstick humor and groundbreaking special effects, but there's a treasure trove of lesser-known facts hidden behind its iconic green face. Originally, The Mask was conceived as a dark horror comic series by Dark Horse Comics, which tells the story of a supernatural mask that grants its wearer immense power, but at a significant moral cost. The film adaptation, however, underwent a drastic transformation, shifting from horror to comedy, largely due to Carrey's involvement. Producers saw potential in his uniquely elastic physical comedy and decided to tailor the film's tone to his strengths. This decision not only redefined the character from his comic roots, but also placed the movie squarely into the realm of family-friendly entertainment, which was a critical factor in its massive box office success. Behind the scenes, the production of The Mask was a blend of cutting-edge GE technology and traditional techniques. The film was one of the first to employ CGI to such an extent, particularly for Carrey's transformation scenes, which were revolutionary at the time. The visual effects team, led by Industrial Light and Magic, used computer-generated imagery to amplify Carrey's already exaggerated expressions, creating a seamless blend of live action and animation. Interestingly, the iconic Cuban Pete dance sequence was initially not in the script. It was added after the filmmakers were inspired by Carrey's natural ability to improvise and his love for classic Hollywood musicals. This scene, along with others, showcased the synergy between old-school performance art and new-age technology, setting a new benchmark for special effects in comedy films. The film is peppered with Easter eggs and nods to classic cartoons and films, which serve as a delightful homage to the genres that inspired its unique style. For instance, the scene where Stanley Ipkiss, Jim Carrey, pulls out a tiny horn to summon an enormous, cartoonish army is a direct reference to the classic Looney Tunes gags. These playful nods are not just surface-level jokes, but also contribute to the film's underlying theme of escapism and the boundless world of imagination. The mask essentially acts as a bridge between the mundane and the fantastical, allowing the audience to indulge in the kind of carefree abandon that is often found in the animated worlds of their childhood. Psychologically, The Mask explores themes of identity and the duality of human nature. Stanley Ipkiss is portrayed as a timid, downtrodden bank clerk who discovers an entirely new persona when he dons the mask. This transformation delves into the Jungian concept of the shadow self, suggesting that beneath our composed exteriors lie hidden desires and capabilities that surface when societal constraints are removed. The mask acts as a liberator, allowing Stanley to break free from his inhibitions, albeit with chaotic results. The film cleverly uses humor to address these psychological themes, making viewers ponder their own hidden potentials and the masks they wear in daily life. The impact and legacy of The Mask are evident in how it paved the way for similar films, combining live action with cartoonish CGI. Its success demonstrated the viability of comic book adaptations that aren't strictly superhero-centric, influencing a wave of films in the late 90s and early 2000s. Moreover, it was a pivotal moment in Jim Carrey's career, cementing his status as a comedic superstar and enabling him to take on more varied roles in the future. The film's influence can also be seen in the continued blending of animation and live action in modern cinema, as it highlighted the potential of CGI and storytelling beyond the realms of sci-fi and fantasy. In terms of cultural resonance, The Mask left a lasting imprint on pop culture, with its catchphrases and distinctive visual style becoming part of the 90s zeitgeist. The film spawned an animated series, video games, and even a less successful sequel, Son of the Mask, which, despite its shortcomings, attests to the enduring appeal of the original. Its legacy is further reinforced by its ongoing presence in meme culture, where scenes and quotes from the movie are regularly shared and reimagined. Ultimately, The Mask remains a shining example of how creative vision and technological innovation can come together to create a cinematic experience that is both entertaining and thought-provoking.